Well, excuse me for being a little late on this subject, but god damn it, Paddington, why couldn't you have done like every other movie adaptation of a classic British children's television series and sucked? But no, you had to be all charmingly competent, unlike the film versions of my two favourite preschool shows of the 80s and 90s. Fortunately, my third favourite series of said genre of said era has managed to avoid a cinematic blazing. It did, however, get a theatrical sizzling. Not gonna lie, I nearly pissed myself laughing at this attempt to bring Fireman Sam from the small screen to the theatre. Not because the essence of the show is flawed, but because it was executed in such a way that the producer of it should have been executed. Or at least had his beret nicked. Fireman Sam was another one of the UK's stop-motion kid shows, its main distinction being that it combined the quaint realism of Postman Pat and the action-packedness of Thomas and Friends, and thanks to its setting, its lead characters spoke with Welsh accents, provided by John Alderton. For the benefit of those of you who live outside this semi-United Kingdom, here's an example of what the average Welsh person sounds like.
Have you got any more exploding carrots?
In a perfect world, everyone would sound like that. And Rick Mail would still be alive. They are also known for their unpronounceable town names, sheep shagging, and are all alcoholic horror film fans who love to troll people. Or maybe that was just Welshy. Besides Fireman Sam, the only good things to come out of Wales have been Harry Seacombe and Anthony Hopkins, meaning all they have to offer as a nation are sophisticated cannibals, comedic tenors, and top-notch fire safety. Created by two ex-firemen, the series was set in the fictional village of Pontypandy, and follows the adventures of your friendly neighbourhood title character, his not-so-competent co-workers, and the townfolk, which for a very reasonably sized town only featured a handful of people. This was one of the things they amended for the newer version of the show.
Look at these graphics!
Oh, by the way, if you're one of the little bastards who go about disliking episodes of the original Fireman Sam series because it apparently looks fake in comparison with your magnificently shite CGI series, stop it! Just because your generation is fucked doesn't mean you can take it out on classic pieces of your parents' culture. A couple years after the original series ended, Fireman Sam in Action hit the stage in 1996 and apparently toured the entire planet Earth for 7 years. Because if there's one thing the starving children of the Third World need to know, it's not to chase giant hedgehogs into bonfires. Spoilers! The tour would have been over much sooner, but Sam insisted on popping back to Pontypandy every few hours just to make sure it hadn't burned to the ground without his guidance.
If you're in a spot, if you're in a jam, when you need some help, call Fireman Sam.
It is at this point I'd like to point out that this show was released on video on April Fool's Day. Do we need any more evidence that the production crew were taking the piss? Either the actor playing the hero next door is a clean-shaven Hagrid, or he's driving one of those Fireman Sam kiddie rides you used to find outside supermarkets or in leisure centres. My favourite part of this intro is the fact he stops the vehicle to give us a dramatic thumbs up, only to then immediately start Jupiter up again.
As you've probably guessed by now, my name is
Joshua Jones.
Sam has gathered the local lads and lasses to teach them that the most important thing to have at your disposal when combating fire or other such dangers is a catchphrase.
ready for action. And that's a bit of a catchphrase of mine, that is. Ready for action.
I'm pretty sure Sam had 2 catchphrases in the series, and that wasn't one of them.
All present and correct, sir.
Oh, great. Fires of London.
Still, who am I to argue with a man whose wig of choice is the same as Rick Mayall's and Donald Trump's? This hour-long show is split into 3 stories. The first one is Flood Alert, which isn't too surprising a damp topic, considering only about 20% of the stories featured fire.
Ah, Fireman Sam. Are you ready for action?
Ready for action.
Ready for action?
Ready for action. Ready for action. Ready for action.
Ready for action!
Ready for action.
Ready for action.
Ready for action!
Now, you know I'm not the kind of person to nitpick, but there seems to be a slight difference in the physical attributes of the live-action Pontypandy firefighters. Station Officer Steele and his erect moustache appear to have been to fat camp. Part-time fireman Trevor Evans is suffering from anorexia, and poor Penny Morris looks, well, not so much tubbier as shorter by comparison.
Man, I'm pretty.
Ready for lunch? On action.
This being a pantomime, the actors are naturally acting larger than life, with the exception of Trevor and with the exception of Elvis's brain. Like Private Pike, Fireman Cridlington was more naive than an empty-headed dunce, his interests being more to do with music and cooking than fire safety. But here his IQ has definitely been shrunk down to that of a chicken. Do we put fires out with water or petrol? I forgot.
Brigade dismiss. Break for coffee and biscuits.
And cakes and donuts and eclairs. Oh,
Control yourself, man.
Only fat people can be characters who love to eat carbohydrates? Unless you're Avril Dalton.
I suggest we step along to Bella's, and I'll show you just how nifty I am.
Good idea, Evans.
Who's gonna cook the lunch?
So will not Trevor. He'll eat it before we see any.
Oh, now I know why there's been a change in weight proportions. Penny has been preventing Trevor from eating their lunches by eating them herself. Welsh logic. Sam recalls that when he isn't building fires, he's putting out robots.
Oh no, that was the wrong way round, wasn't it?
We'd best get things together.
Just you and me, Penny.
Meanwhile, on the Pontypandy street set, Norman Price enters stage left. Or should I say, Normina.
Easier scrambling eggs, this is.
Wales actually had a shortage of male child actors at the time due to the Great Leak Drought of '96.
He's such a little genius.
Who did your eye makeup this morning, Dillis? Michael J. Fox? Or a fan of the newer Fireman Sam series who was trying to make up for your absent glasses? Supports community? I'll bet she does.
Ha ha!
Norman, my egg!
Now you're probably wondering why Dillis's eggs are ping pong balls. Well, they now take a lot longer to expire and a hell of a lot longer to eat, so you really get value for your money. We're all quite mad here. Back in the studio, Sam shows off his greatest creation, Bentley the robot. When the day comes that robots take over our jobs, I hope twats like Sam will be rewarded with a firing squad.
Would you please hop along to Dillis Price's store and fetch those things for me?
Your wish is my command, master.
What could possibly go wrong?
Squeezy.
I'm gonna have to reprogram Bentley.
Its first robotic instinct is to molest. David Firth warned us this would happen.
Come along, Trevor. Tongues will wag if they see us chatting with strangers.
What tongues? There are only 6 adults living in this town, and 4 of them work for the fire service, and so already know about Bend Over Gently.
I'm Professor Norman Price, and I fix robots.
Mistaking him for one of the creators of South Park, the Afro Ginger is burning for some pasty revenge.
Hey, steady on, Norman.
I see Normina went to the Homer Simpson School of Electronic Fixings. Since Sam is always on the scene, he and his niece and nephew, Sarah and James, save Bentley, and as a reward, he assimilates the entire town. Quick, someone call Obscurus Looper and resurrect Japanese Iron Man. Too late, Bentley got her too. Actually, this is just a musical number, one of a few scattered throughout the show. And considering they chose the hands-down creepiest one to play first with no real build-up, if I was a child watching this, I'd be both confused and petrified.
Go!
You failed.
Bentley passes the pancake cooking test, though with his earlier antics, I'm concerned as to what he used for an egg whisk.
I'll spring clean the kitchen. You guys hop along to Bella's.
It's funny because either the firefighters are all Special Ks, or my theory that Bentley assimilated them all was accurate.
Hey! Cut the whistling, Bentley.
Sam took the time to program the humanized robot he built to whistle whistle while you work whenever it tidies up. Sam has too much free time on his hands. Not that I'm one to talk.
Try some real music. Rock and roll. Elvis lives. Elvis is king.
Since the first song on the cassette is Elvis Presley's cover of The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Bentley rushes to the kitchen and causes a lot of foamy bubbles to float up the fire station's window, which apparently means he's flooded the kitchen. Fortunately, since the rest of the crew realised there was no point in them going to have lunch at Bella's since Bentley had already fed them pancakes, it's time to be ready for action.
Here we go! Right out, sir! Here we go!
Where are you going, Sam?
Well done, Penny.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen! And I've seen Suicide Squad. Sam is certainly starting to seem like the kind of person who'd attempt to save someone from drowning by drinking the contents of the river. They start to pump the water out, and then Sam offers to sacrifice himself to potential puddles.
Don't touch any electrical appliances.
Don't tell me what to do, you're not my father. Actually, boy, I am. Since computer systems are still perfectly functionable after being dipped in wet substances, Bentley is okay. And that sequence is why Act 1 is called Flood Alert. Most misleading title since the movie Fargo.
We'll inspect the damage after lunch.
You've had lunch 3 times in the past 10 minutes.
This is shit!
But it turns out Sam's robot's cooking skills are on par with Louise Williams' gingerbread sculpting.
I prefer it when Elvis cooked the lunch.
Time for Elvis's musical number, which is hilarious because the actor's singing voice sounds nothing like his speaking voice.
So who's gonna do the washing up?
You may think I'm cautious, but I just got this hunch.
The song was launched by teenage girl screams, probably lifted from a hard day's night. That or the school children Sam keeps chatting up were told Elvis was going to sing. Oh, for God's sake, Penny is shorter than the children. Fire the casting director. And so, just 3 minutes later, we slide along to the next story. The cast of characters is now complete, as Bella Lasagna has taken off her robot outfit and is now on set.
Morning, Mrs. Price.
I've been sitting next to you for over an hour. I'm an Italian. A blind Italian.
Especially for you.
Oh, grazie, Trevor.
Oh, hello, Dillis.
Here's something no children's TV show can do without. A love triangle. In the first series, Trevor would occasionally flirt with the buxom Bella, who was having none of it.
Mamma mia! You're beautiful when you're angry.
Whereas Dillis very blatantly fancied Trev. By the second series, Trevor and Dilys did start to spend more time together, but since Trev did not seem to show any mutual admiration to Welsh Norabati, he might have just placed her in the soul-crushing friend zone.
Here you are, Mammy.
It's a chalk and glue Sunday. I call it the Ralph Wiggum. Like in the episode Rich and Famous, Trevor has a camera that he'll be using to film the fire brigade for a training film thing.
Can I be in your film, Mr. Evans?
Oh, no, I don't see why not.
No.
Yes, you can be my gopher.
Go for what?
Go for ever.
Dilys reads an article pointing out how your useless junk of yesterday could be worth a whole £5 today. Why did I throw away my Pokemon cards? Oh yeah, because I needed space for my Simpson comics. Why did I throw away my Simpson comics? This plotline is also taken from the episode Rich and Famous, which means I know what the outcome will be, because Act 2's title is a bit of a giveaway.
Postman Pat.
Well, let's get this training film rolling.
What about me? We need some actors.
Give us your best Albert Steptoe impression.
Hello, big size, great big walnut crushers.
Well, he's no Phil Davis. Sarah and James arrive, and despite being prominent characters in the series, they once again contribute nothing at all. Also, Sarah's trousers are so high she seems to be using them as a bra.
Now, who needs the fire brigade?
Now, who needs the fire service?
Hold it, lads. I'd like a close-up of this one.
Oh, I say, right. Well, yes.
Huh, you crawler.
Now, who needs the fire brigade?
Fire service?
Sam, there's smoke coming from the garage.
Fire at the fire station.
Isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
What happened in there?
It was Norman. He set fire to some old newspapers.
What exactly did you do, Norman Price?
She just told you. Wait, James is being played by a woman? It's happening again!
Now then, who can tell me what this is?
Gilbert Gottfried?
I hate smoke. It's disgusting.
Dusty up here. It's hot as well. Ah! The candle set fire to some papers. I'm trapped.
Oh dear, outside, never mind.
I call the fire brigade.
Or Dilys could climb out of that not particularly high up window, and you, the 7-foot Bella, could catch her.
999 has got a time.
Well, thanks for giving my viewers who live outside of Britain the wrong number to call for a service that could save their lives. Bloody foreigners. I love that since there is only room for 2 inside Mini Jupiter, poor Elvis had to run all the way.
Outside attic window.
Yes, we know.
Ready for action.
Sam has now broken the fourth wall more than Milo Stewart has attempted to break the internet with her trans-neutral gender bullshit.
Careful, Dilys.
Now in possession of Dilys's valuable vase, the fire crew leave her to burn, while they drive off as fast as they can to the Antiques Roadshow. Or at least they would have, until Bella doth state.
$1.99 in supermarket.
The last 2.5 minutes of this segment involves the cast singing about the station's resident fire engine Jupiter, and doing their best to look as tired and bored as anyone who had to sing this drivel in front of barely interested toddlers for 7 years. The third and final story takes up the remaining half an hour, beginning with Jupiter chasing after Penny's fire engine Venus, which has stormed off in a huff because she didn't get a song. Or maybe she did, I don't know, I'll be damned if I'm going to listen to that more than once. And after an always vital day for Night Shot, we get another bloody song. This one about Station Officer Basil Steele.
Station Officer Steele, gathers his men and calls the next.
Being a thoroughbred Italian, Bella is of course fluent in Irish jig.
Well, thanks. I needed that.
Okay, you win. Getting back to the fact James is also being played by a woman, during the first two stories, Sarah didn't have any lines, so wouldn't it have made more sense for her to have had James's?
Sarah, look! A hollow tree!
Spiffin!
I'll swap it for a big banger. Oh no! It's a second-hand
Penis!
Corporal Jones sure will be cross when he finds out his camouflage suit and tin hat are covered in ginger hairs. Meanwhile, Dilys and Bella are being spied on by some railings that I'm sure won't be ingratiated into this story somehow, considering they weren't there earlier.
Your pinch on my bottom.
I'd never ever stoop so low.
Bottom smacking in children's shows and movies was the 90s equivalent of this millennium's fart jokes.
Oh, you Italian basket! I've read about Italians.
Resorting to petty racist taunts. That's the Dilys we all know and loathe.
I thought it was too foreign to work properly.
Nice.
Did I say ingratiated? I meant the railings were going to be stuffed down our throats like burgers at Melissa McCarthy's house.
This calls for the fire brigade. Elvis? Yes, I'm here.
Do you really need to waste the fire brigade's time with this easily solved dilemma? Besides, they're probably busy having lunch.
Now, who needs the fire brigade?
Service.
Stand back, everyone.
Hang on a jiff, sir. That wood is highly flammable. Norman could go up like a human torch.
Well, duh. Why do you think I suggested it?
We're going in for the kill.
I got you.
That was easy.
Prankers and mash, who pinched my derriere?
The phantom bottom pincher strikes again.
You little... Music!
England has Dennis, Scotland has Wooly, everyone in Wales has Normina Price. Anyway, back to the fireworks plot.
Can you hear me, Sam?
Loud and clear, sir.
Not so good this side, sir.
Obviously the sound sounds different to you, Penny. The audio frequency is travelling over your head. Normina shows up wanting to show off his pet hedgehog, but Sam ain't got time for that, because...
It's my lunch break.
Ah, lunch. Sounds like a tip-top topping idea. Let's go.
I'm starting to think the writer of this added the constant quest for cuisine after his play adaptation of Bodger and Badger was turned down.
Now don't you go near that bonfire, or you might end up as the guy.
Or in your case, gal. Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new contestant for Robot Wars. Brian! They couldn't even disguise the fact that it clearly has a motor inside. This play really is a wet dream for smug nitpickers like moi.
Silly as Norman Price.
That doesn't provide you with sound enough reasoning for stealing his cardboard box, young lady. Attracted by the cramped, dark, and woodlice, Normina decides to make the bonfire his twig house. Methinks the child just out-stupid Brick Tamlin.
But it's my secret, so don't tell anyone. Ta-da!
Remember, children, if someone you know tells you that they are planning to commit suicide, keep it a secret.
We've got the guy.
Are you fucking serious? You're going to publicly burn an effigy of the Pontypandy equivalent of El Barto?
Looks a bit like Norman Price.
You tell Dilys that, sir. She'll be ever so flattered.
Yeah, or maybe she'll sue you for figuratively setting her child on fire.
Careful with those fireworks, Trevor.
I know the drill. Keep the lid shut tight.
Great. Now where did you put that lighted candle I gave you? In the box, boyo! After Elvis teases Normina that he looks like a dummy,
Ha ha, very funny.
Station Officer Steele realises that they haven't eaten anything in the last 60 seconds.
I suggest a quick spot of yummy at Madame Lasagna's.
Sounds a bit rude.
Normina does the old pretend to be sleepy so the not too bright person who is supposed to be keeping an eye on things falls asleep instead trick. Which is the kind of thing that would actually happen to the bumbling Trevor Evans. Well, that explains why Trev had a spotty handkerchief sticking out of his stomach throughout the whole show. Also, apparently Normina managed to trick the Sky into going to bed ASAP too.
Trevor, darling, it's Bella.
Just coming to join you right away, my lovely.
Tuh, bloody foreigners.
It is a great and glorious.
Sam, I pulled the mic out of the socket!
Good work, Elvis.
Funny moment, but a tad out of character for Sam to show any disrespect to his commander.
Elvis, what's that in your pocket?
Well, it's just a firework.
A rocket in your pocket. That's asking for trouble.
The bonfire is lit, and look at it go! A little bit of steam is ascending from it. That constitutes a roaring fire, right?
That's no dummy. That's Norman Price.
Who would have thought using a scheduled to-be-used bonfire as a tent on the 5th of November would be a retarded idea?
Grab my arm. Come on, come on, here we go. Now, Norman, remember, down the ladder. 3 points of Gryffindor.
Who the fuck said that?
Fireman Sam, it's Brian, he's in the bonfire!
That's convenient, since I forgot to bring the marshmallows and sausages. We'll have roasted hedgehog for tea.
Cheerio now.
I've invented this high-pitched whistle that hedgehogs find irresistible.
Oh, bit like me, eh, Dillis?
Shut it!
Wait, is Trevor implying that rodents find him sexy? And despite being grilled, the hedgehog's wheels are still in working condition.
Go and have a word with Sir. I know he wants to speak to you.
Yes, tell off the child you made a dummy of to burn. Surely there are some questionable morals and ethics about that. What a pong! That must mean another song! Besides the intro and closing tune, which to be honest is a bloody good covering of the awesome Fireman Sam theme song, this one about the 5th of November is the best one in the play. And that's not saying much. Then, with one last ready for action, the fireworks are fired. Well, that cheap lackluster display just ruined the entire play. Shadows at night must be a Welsh thing.
When he hears that fire bell chime, Fireman Sam is there on time.
What can I say? Finally watching this after knowing of its existence for 20 odd years certainly wasn't a letdown. For fans of the series over the age of 5, you're likely not going to get much joy out of this, assuming you are hoping to view a quality adaptation of the TV series. The sets and ill-fitting costumes look naff, some of the characters are behaving somewhat differently, and it generally flows together as incoherent and nonsensical as a Fire Bill Marshall lecture. However, if you and your friends love laughing at ridiculous movies, then I highly recommend giving this a watch, as there's plenty of amusement to be had with it, though probably best to skip through the songs, since pretty much all of them are mind-numbingly tedious. This is Jeffrey Kitsch saying, seriously though folks, don't forget to make sure that your smoke alarms are working correctly. And the best way to check this properly is to start a fire. But only a small one. If faulty stage adaptations of kids' shows isn't its own genre, then it really should be. I'll bet the Noddy one is absolutely hilarious.
Oh, it's perfect! Do you like it? Good!
By the way, after being burned alive, Norman was reincarnated as Noddy. That explains nothing.